Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We're picking up right where we left off, where you have just failed a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
You were at one moment still within the temple of Tysus, and then the next, your vision fades. The air suddenly feels thick, dense, dusty, with the constant scent of petrichor. Moist earth just after a rain, but it's everywhere. And it's familiar to you more so than you would expect. Like an entire lifetime of smelling this.
Ooh.
You open your eyes, and you are in a place that you see clearly. But you don't see it the same way that you did the world around you a moment ago. Light reflects off of things, and they take colors that confuse you for a moment. And then you realize it's because light isn't reflecting off of anything down here. There is none. Your sight is so potent. You are seeing what is around you, despite the fact that there is nothing to illuminate it for you. Your sight is magically enhanced, but you never did anything for it. It always has been. As you look around the tunnels that you are within, the ceilings are so impossibly high that even with your remarkable sight in places, they vanish. Out of sight, out of mind, as if forgetting they're even there. As you walk, you realize you hear the footsteps of others around you. When you turn to look, immediately you feel repulsion, disgust. Directly to your right and behind you is a half-orc who is wearing what looked like were once leathers, the sort of riding leathers a horseman would wear, but they are torn and tattered, and his wrists are bound. His ankles are bound. He has a chain connecting the two. Behind him, you see the source of your disgust. A drow man. You know his name. Lacur has always been ambitious. So much so that he's even dared to raise a blade to a female. As such, he has been the subject of ridicule, but it seems as though that doesn't matter to him. As he holds the chains to this half-orc, the others that are within the party are of no consequence to you. This one, Lacur, he is with you by your request. For the real reason that you're all down here in these tunnels. It's been a careful plan that you set up. You remember it. You remember the arrangements. Setting up the summoning circle. Arranging for the Boggorath to be in the right place at the right time. Lacur believes the half-orc knows something about these particular tunnels that you're in, as close to the surface as you are. The half-orc has been protesting this entire time, until recently Liqueur has bound and gagged him. The half-orc now looks resigned to what is coming. Liqueur speaks up, and you hear him say, "Anybody know how much farther it is? We have better things to do than waste our lives with this drivel." And before anybody else can say anything, you don't look back at him, but you use your own body to shield the somatics of the spell that you're casting. And you say, "No father for you."
Ooh.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. 26.
You recognize Hold Person.
Oh.
You cast Hold Person on Liqueur. You feel it go through. You turn around, Liqueur looking startled, but unable to move or react. You look at him, his face scarred, but even so, asymmetrical, ugly. An unfortunate soul, one who should never had the ambition that he does. If he manages to survive this encounter, perhaps he will have developed some humility.
Mm-hmm.
You hear yourself say, "Fetch the slave. He's worth more than this petulant maggot." You hear the other followers with you step forward and retrieve the chains, and as you watch, you see Liqueur almost break out of the Hold Person. Suddenly his eyes shift and his whole body twitches as if he turns, but then the Hold Person holds fast. And the floor of the tunnel vibrates. You smile at Liqueur. You turn to the slave and the other drow who is with you. Another male, but one who has always followed your orders. This one, Rashid. You know him well. He's been helpful to you in the past. You turn to Rashid and you say, "It would be best if we hurry. I don't feel like taming a Bargaroth for a second time today. We will leave Liqueur to his troubles. I'll see you below." And you see Rashid look at you, and he says, "Yes, Lady Lefray."
Lady what?
Lefray.
Lefray.
You then twist your hands in another somatic motion, and your vision goes purple as you step through a portal. You feel very satisfied at how this trap likely will succeed. And as you step out of the portal, you know you are several tunnels below. You give it maybe another 30 seconds. You look around the tunnel that you're in, and you begin heading back to Lucifax. And you relax the Hold Person. That is where the vision suddenly ends and you return to yourself. It was quick. Quicker than other visions that you've been through, and much more coherent. You remember what happened clearly. You remember the colors that you saw, the voices that you heard. And as you kind of come back to yourself, Anscombe is looking at you, and he says, "Another?"
Yeah. They're becoming more frequent.
Are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. Can't say for other people that I've crossed.
What does that mean?
I've done some pretty terrible things.
You have.
I don't know.
I mean, I think I've known you pretty close since you've come to the academy, and I don't think you've really had that much time to do a whole lot of terrible things.
I'm glad you see it that way.
I do. Especially since there's no guards knocking down your door.
Lorna briefly flashes back to that memory of being Palerna and trying to rush a ritual and inscription in her table and the guards knocking down the door, and she just kind of awkwardly laughs. Yeah.
You seem like you were only out for a moment this time.
It was quick.
What now?
Some information that was new to me that I need to kind of mull over for a little bit.
Okay. So do we want to get out of here? I think we've...
Yes, we've finished. I've finished our business here.
You see the priest. You're not sure if he's a cleric or not. Still, he just kind of waves at you as you seem to be preparing to leave.
Yeah. Thank you for your guidance.
He kind of bows his head and goes back to sweeping.
We said the Grand Marchand is where we were going to go after we finished here, I think.
You hear Skolna. You didn't see her until, again, just now. She just says, "Yeah."
Do a little shopping. I'd like to stop at that thing that Tiefling mentioned this morning.
You hear Anscombe say, "You mean you want to go kick a tiefling's ass?"
I mean, if that's how it plays out, that'd be great.
Well...
And maybe I've earned a punch to the face.
I don't know how I feel about this self-deprecating side of you that's suddenly popping up.
There's no suddenly.
Well, stop it.
Yes, sir.
Good. And Anscombe, places his hand on the small of your back, and you find yourself being moved out of the temple.
She will go.
Okay, as you leave the Temple of Tysus, I will pull up the map of Shorewatch. You said you wanted to go to the Grand Marchand, yeah?
Huh? Think we might run into Tier there?
You might. You might also run into somebody else. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Okay, so as you make your way into the Grand Marchand, it's really not far. You definitely don't need a carriage ride this time. It's not even a few minutes walk. Is Lorna looking for anything in particular?
I would say no.
No? Okay.
She's kind of drifting.
Okay. I'm gonna roll an insight check. What would a concerned half-orcish boyfriend read on Lorna's face?
She's kind of, I think, especially as they enter the Grand Marshana, and you've described it as a very colorful,
Oh, yeah.
visually striking place. When they first passed through it, Lorna was looking at everything. She wanted to see all of the wares they had. She wanted to take in all the colors that were there and all of the people that were passing by. But now she's kind of passing through it like nothing, like she's not even really there mentally. Like none of the striking visuals are affecting her, and she even kind of steers into people as they pass by, where normally it would be a simple like step to the side. She's clearly lost, or rather maybe her attention is focused elsewhere.
Okay. It doesn't take long for him to pick up on this. Anscombe, like, pulls you aside next, like you go by 2 carts of vendors and you like walk into a halfling. You just hear hi, and it's just Anscombe says, "Excuse us, sorry," and then he rounds a corner and you feel a finger hook into the nape of your robes and you are just yanked to the side, and Anscombe is slightly bent over. He's like slightly on one knee, he's crouched down, and he says, "Lorna,
Anscombe.
darling, what's eating you?"
I just have a lot on my mind.
Mm-hmm. You can tell me about it.
I know I can. I'm just kind of mulling over how I want to handle this, you know?
No.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? I think you would get this. I'm concerned that I'm looking too far back, or maybe I'm dedicating too much of myself to what used to be, and I'm not living in the moment, which is kind of funny considering I was doing just that by not paying attention to where I was going.
Mm-hmm.
And tripping over that poor man. But you have things that you don't remember, obviously.
Yeah.
How do you weigh the importance of what has happened and what is happening?
That's a good question. Sometimes I don't know. I have little fleeting memories. They're never pleasant. But sometimes I dream of what my life might have been like before the catastrophe. Before the false Hydra took over the town. I remember I used to... Well, I've had dreams of tending to horses. Of learning to ride. Learning to handle them. Wishing that I could talk to them. Because they're so simple, but they were so gentle. Like there was more going on with them. And the stable master, I have dreams of him shouting and smiling at me as I'm atop a horse. Doing something right, clearly. But I don't remember it myself. And I don't remember how to ride a horse. But I have dreams that this happened, and they feel very, very much like something that I did. But every time I dwell on that, or who I might have been, I just get sad. 'Cause it's gone. 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 'C It's not me anymore. Who I am now is maybe a little bit studious fighter who cares a lot about his friends. One of which has shown him more than anybody else in his life. Made him believe in himself. Never would have if it wasn't for you. You showed me I could do magic. You showed me that I could be worth something. So now I live my life for what's now. Who I am now and who I can be.
I have one question then.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a fight to remember, and it wasn't just flits of memories and dreams, if you were given the option to remember everything that you once were and once did, and it was a yes or no, one-time only offer, would you take it?
Anscombe thinks about it. Hard. That's... I had to decide yes or no. Right then, when it was offered.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want to know. I'd want to know what I'd lost.
Even if you learned things about yourself that you just couldn't reconcile.
If I did, I mean... Shit, I mean, maybe I'd start talking to Treat about repentance. I've never been real good at apologizing, but if the person I was needed to make those apologies, I'd still want to know who I was, even if that's what I had to do. Anybody can be redeemed.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know about that yet.
Why?
Some people are really bad.
Sure. Some people are. But there's qualities in everyone. Redeemable qualities.
I think I need to figure out where my balance is between what was and what is.
How can I help?
But right now, can you help?
Yeah, how can I help?
I'm sure you will help. I don't know if that's doing something specific now or in the future, but can you trust that I will ask you if I think you can help?
Yeah.
And I think that's good enough. What I want to do now is focus on the people around me. Because they're helping make who I am and who I will be.
I'm not gonna lie, I like the sound of that.
And I really want to go to Siren's Respite after this.
Okay, it's probably a bit of a ride, but...
Well, I mean, we have to go back to Farum to get our paycheck, so...
Sure.
We'll go
Oh,
from
I
there.
see. You don't want to take another job after this. You want to go straight there.
We'll play it by ear.
Sure.
Maybe get a job in the area if there is one. Streamline the process.
Well, we might get lucky.
Maybe. And if there isn't, maybe forego a job to accomplish this.
Can I ask? I know you want to see Siren's Respite, and I just want to know, is there a specific thing you hope to glean from this, or?
From going to Siren's Respite?
Yeah.
I want to meet your dad.
Is that it?
That's a pretty big part of it.
Okay. You'll be the first woman I'd bring home to see him that he might actually approve of, so...
Are you saying you've brought other women home?
No.
Inside check.
Okay, roll an inside check. I've made mistakes.
25.
He is flustered. He's embarrassed. So he's never... you get the impression that he is evading a truth.
Honestly, the best policy, Anscombe.
Look, I told you I drank a lot, right? Like...
You mentioned it.
Yeah, and... Turns out, when your green boy gets a little drunk, he makes mistakes, and... Maybe there were some traveling companions that came through town, and Pops found him with one.
Okay, if it makes you feel better. She looks, bemused as she says this. I will be honest with you, and I will say that I was married once. So.
Well, that was previous you, or whatever.
Sure,
It's not the same. He's like very much blushing and struggling to make eye contact. Look, all I'm going to say is that my dad is going to be thrilled to meet you.
You think?
I know.
Minus the whole I'm not a half-orc thing.
I don't think he'd ever care about that.
You did say when we were talking earlier that he might be surprised that I'm with you.
Yeah, but not the way you're thinking. Like, he'd be surprised that I managed you.
That's very silly to me.
Nah. You've got courtly graces and all these manners. You carry yourself like a noble woman. He sees me and, a little more than a farmhand growing up, and then it's...
And now you're a magical knight. Crazy.
Right. That's gonna take some getting used to. Anyway, why don't we see if we can maybe find Tyr or...
I think that we can do
Norre.
that. All of them, hopefully. I've got a duel to win.
Well, Skolna's probably around.
Oh, I'm sure she's
And you just hear...
enjoyed this. Yeah. Keeping lookouts, Smola.
You look over and she's like crouched down as if she was part of the conversation as well. And she has like a candy in her mouth that she's sucking on.
Did you pay for that?
You don't know.
I don't know. That's why I asked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see if we can find them and anything that might catch our eye.
Good idea. And Anscombe stands up and then he holds a hand out to you.
Take it.
You are pulled to your feet. Let's see here. Go ahead and roll me some stuff.
Okay.
Let's see what sort of nonsense you stumble across.
I love nonsense.
In the Grand Mershana. Roll me a D100.
7.
7. Okay. Oh. Roll me a D100.
47.
47. As you are walking, you walk maybe 10 feet when suddenly you are passing by a small stand that has an elderly gnome man like manning the counter, and he says, "Ah, you, miss, wait. You appear to be are you a mage?"
Yes, I am.
And he you realize why he's asking. As his stand, it is lined with staves.
Ooh.
And there are some that look as plain as a branch that's been just had the bark peeled away, to some that look as ornate as having winding gold running up the shafts of it. And as he looks at you, and he kind of looks you over, and he says, yes. Transmutation, I take it?
Astute observation, sir.
You have that aura about you.
She kind of looks at herself like, what part of me? Alright.
Can I interest you in a new arcane focus?
Potentially.
He gestures, and he is pointing at one of the staves on the front of his stand. It is a cedar staff bound in what looks like a very fine metal, maybe silver, maybe steel, and it's got a huge, like a fist-sized garnet at the end of it.
Ooh.
This as an arcane focus, should you use it, can grant you more energy throughout the day.
How so?
Mechanically,
Yeah.
this arcane focus, this staff, can be used during a short rest to restore a spell slot.
Spell slot?
Any spell slot.
Any spell slot?
Yes, just one.
Like a 9th level spell slot?
You don't know.
Can I look it over? How powerful does it look? I want to look at the runes and such.
Sure, roll me
Maybe
an
gauge the extent of spell slots.
Arcana. Roll an Arcana as you pick up the staff and look at it.
17.
The first thing you notice is that this arcane focus can, firstly, be used as a quarterstaff to whack things.
Whack.
It will deal magic damage, though it is not a +1 weapon. It can regain up to a 5th level spell slot.
Ooh. Man. Just weigh her options. So you know how she donated her crystal arcane focus to Magos?
Yeah.
And that was her only one, and it was very funny. Now she has an overabundance of arcane focuses. Her Mage's Compendium acts as one, her Wand of the War Mage +1 acts as one, and her Prosthetic acts as one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to weigh. That's pretty good. Is that better than the Wand of the War Mage?
So it doesn't give you a +1.
It doesn't, but
you can use
it's
it to
a free
regain
spell slot. Yeah,
It's
up
a
to 5th
trade-off.
level. What is the damned professional opinion on that?
You're asking Echo's opinion?
I'm asking Echo's opinion.
Your spell DC is pretty high.
My spell DC is a 17.
I will say, you might be better off with an extra spell slot.
I think so too. And hold on.
Because a DC of 16 is still really good.
Actually, the Wand of the War Mage doesn't affect my spell save DC. It's
That's
just
your
a
spell
+2
attack rolls.
attacks. So that's even better. And my attack roll for spells is a +9 without it. Yeah. She'll take out her wand and kind of twirl it in her fingers and say, "Would you take a trade?"
Ah, a Wand of the Moor Mage. I can certainly... for a trade, I will knock quite a bit off the price.
Reasonable.
For that
What
one,
would you ask?
For that Wand of the War Mage, after that, 70 gold pieces. And the stash
Oh.
is yours.
Deal. She will hand over 70 gold pieces.
Would you like a gift wrapping?
No, I'll wear it out.
Very well, then. Take care of Lennon.
Lenin? Okay. What is it to add to my inventory?
It's... So, on this
Doesn't
unique
exist yet?
table, it's not a real item yet. So, we'll make a note of it. I'll make it later. But it's... You can just add a custom item.
Okay. How do you spell Lenin?
Lenin.
Okay. Staff of Spell Slot Restoration. So I remember it. Add item. I'm assuming it needs to be attuned.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll deal with that later. She hooks it to her back with a reasonable mechanism to do so.
A sling.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks him.
You're quite welcome. And then he looks at Anscombe and he says, "You look like the sort who could use a ring of the squire." And Anscombe says, No thanks. I appreciate it." And then,
That's the thing that you can tuck stuff away, right?
"Yep,
Oh, you've got that covered.
that I do." "Very well. Pleasant day." And the gnome, sits back on his stool as you continue on. Do you keep looking around, or do you search for people?
That's a good question. Because this is such a good opportunity to get things.
It is.
But my attunement slots are full up.
Well, you do not have to get stuff that's
I
attuned.
know, but still. Can I say I look for things that aren't attunement?
Sure.
I do that.
Roll D100.
Hooray. 54.
54. Roll a D100.
29.
What is that? Hold on. I don't know what this is. Oh. Okay. As you're walking, you suddenly come across another vendor stall this stall is full of knickknacks. Just all sorts of small gadgetry, carved objects, and all sorts of animals and people in various shapes. And you see there is a almost completely black-skinned elf behind the counter. And she just looks
A dark elf?
Doesn't look like a drow.
Okay.
It's probably a wood elf of some kind.
Just a darker complexion.
Yeah. She looks at you as you're kind of inspecting, and she just says, "Hey there."
Hi.
What catches your eye? Do you know what an ermine is?
Yeah, it's like a
weasel.
stoat. Yeah.
A pair of them are stuffed, and they sit atop a wooden plank facing each other. They look as though they are getting ready to pounce at each other, but they're stuffed. And it's very small. The whole thing is maybe 6 inches across. That trinket absolutely catches your eye. Roll me an Arcana check.
They real? Oh my god. 25.
With a 25, these are not just stuffed ermines. Because as you get like close and look at it, one of them like looks at you and then goes back to looking at its opponent.
Uh-huh. What does that do?
Oh, that's a living sculpture.
Yeah, they're quite cute. Do they look around?
Sometimes they vanish. Well, not vanish. They jump off the plank and go get into mischief, but they always come back.
Get into mischief.
You know, like they hide stuff and make nests under your bed.
and people would pay for that.
They're very cute.
They are incredibly cute.
It's only 15 gold if you're interested.
How about, since they're probably going to hide some of my things, 13 gold for the future and convenience.
Roll a persuasion.
Persuasion. 13. Terrible roll. 13 for 13!
She looks at you and she looks at the stuffed ermines and she's like, okay, 13 gold's fire.
Oh yeah. Do they have names?
I've been calling him Ellie and Argon, but you can call him whatever you like.
Okay, I'll think about it. I've got an ermine duo statue.
When you pick it up, like when you pick it up on like your hands on one side of the plank, the ermine closest to your hand turns around and sniffs your hand.
Ah! She offers like her finger to like pet it.
It kind of investigates your hand a little, and then butts its head against your finger, and then goes back to looking at the opponent.
Such a good purchase. I'm gonna think about good names for them. They won't die if I put them in my bag of holding, right?
Oh no, hon, they're magic objects.
Okay, well I just wanted to make sure.
They might climb out and investigate, but they'll go back in.
Okay, good. She'll put it in her bag.
Okay. Yeah, for the most part, they seem like they're stuck on the plank until they're suddenly not. It's a weird magic. You're not sure what enchantment that is. Maybe some sort of very minor animate object, but it seems cute.
Mm-hmm. I had an idea. Lorna, if she happens to see one, like a magical tattoo artist.
Roll me a D100.
Mm. 72.
Roll investigation.
Oh boy. A natural one.
For a total of
9.
Okay.
Is that inspo worthy?
That's up to you.
No.
So, with a 9, you would be walking through the Marshana for a good while, and then suddenly you would realize you're standing in front of a tattoo vendor. Like you wouldn't like spot it, but they're really noticeable when you do see one. So yes, there is a tattoo artist. The tattoo artist in question, you're not sure if they are an air genasi or an earth genasi, but they're one of them. They are covered in so many tattoos, you cannot tell what their natural skin tone is.
That's so cool.
She is currently inscribing a tattoo onto a dwarf, and you hear the dwarf, "Ah! Oh! Easy!" And the Genasi just says, "Take a breath. You're all right." Are you customers?
Potentially.
Just a minute. I'm almost finished with this lot. Order! The dwarf, it seems like he's getting a pretty small tattoo. It doesn't take very long. And you see that this tattoo artist is like seated on like a really, it's extremely flimsy. It's like a wooden stool with wheels on the bottom. As soon as she finishes the work on the dwarf, she scoots on. You hear just rolls over to you, and she says, "What'll it be?"
Do you do magic tattoos?
Aye, but they can be expensive.
Right.
Do you need to see a list?
I would love to see a list. She
Uh,
kind of glanced over Anscombe like, is this crazy?
Anscombe is just like he's looking at the art on the wall of the vendor, like interested. I've sent you the Amaranth tattoo page.
Oh, yeah.
Now, some of these tattoos in the Amaranth tattoo page are not going to be available.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say that this Mershana merchant, I'm going to roll a few things. Firstly, she is a professional artist. So, let me see here. She does have magical ink. Let's see if she has any of the gem inks. She has 2 of the gem inks. Let me see which ones. Diamond. And sapphire. So, this is more for my notes than you. Hold on.
Uh-huh. I've been skimming through, don't worry.
Okay. Which means that she's not going to have the crazy enchanted inks that, like, give you the prismatics or the iridescence, because those are, you're going to have to go to a capital city for those. Alright. So, over the table, which ones are catching your eye, and we can see if she can do them. So, at the baseline, it's going to be 10 gold for the professional artist making it, and 50 gold for the magical ink if it's a magical tattoo. So 60 gold on top of whatever the charge is for what you're looking at. And then if you want it to alter your saving throw with one of the gem inks, it's either diamond for wisdom saves, or sapphire for intelligence saves. And diamond is 200 gold, sapphire is 150.
Oh, I know what I want.
What do you want?
The avian.
The avian. 600 gold. So 660 gold. Do you have that much gold on you?
Yeah.
You're going to spend it on...
Just barely. I have 706 gold.
Okay.
I think what I want to get, I think it's pretty fitting.
This large tattoo grants the wearer a flying speed equal to their walking speed, which means it's going to be like a big piece. So like across all of your back, or across like all of your chest,
that's where it's
or
gonna be.
All of your, like a whole sleeve. Like it's a significant piece.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it?
Reminiscent to her memory of the inscription on Lily's wedding band. It was a nightingale and a dahlia. She wants to get something similar, except instead of a dahlia, it's going to be a lily.
Okay. And a nightingale?
Yeah. And the words "with you I fly" kind of come to mind.
That's very sweet. In color or black and white?
Black and white. And I think this is kind of an important decision for Lorna to make, because she's kind of setting a boundary. And it doesn't feel like it upon her getting a tattoo, but she's the dahlia. Lorna is the dahlia, and Lily is the lily. And kind of putting the nightingale and the lily together, it's kind of a fixing who belongs to who, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of why she's after this conversation with Anscombe today, and who she was and who she is and who she will be, she's kind of determining right here and now that the relationship that Lily and Malcolm had was theirs. And this is going to be a reminder of that. But she is still connected to that.
Okay. So it's like more for herself. She's creating a boundary, and this tattoo represents it.
Right. She's outlining that relationship, solidifying it, and inscribing it to remember it.
So the tattoo, because it's a magical tattoo, the tattoo is going to determine what it looks like when you fly. So it's going to be a black and white nightingale's wings, basically spreading from Lorna's back when she flies.
Which is awesome.
Granted,
it'll be under clothes most of the time.
They're ethereal, so the wings, they won't alter your clothes. When you pitch this tattoo, the artist, when you first start talking about it and you point out, like, on the art, she seems like she's expecting you to back out when she talks about how much it's going to cost.
She's pretty determined.
660 gold. Are you all right with that?
Yes.
It'll take a couple hours.
I don't have a thing until later.
Have a seat. Let's decide where you want it. I'm Inky, by the way.
Inky? Wow. You were born for this.
It's a chosen name.
Hey, so is mine.
And she, like, begins, like, stenciling out the shape that you want. And she says, my first inclination is across your back. From shoulder to shoulder?
Yes.
And you here to watch? And Anscombe's like, yeah.
Lorna, like, starts shimmying down, like, her robe from her shoulder.
Anscombe, like, blushes, but he doesn't look away. Inky chuckles as she, like, places the stencil across your shoulders. You ever had a tattoo before?
Nope. But I have experienced pain before, and she'll kind of gesture with her fake hand.
Oh, this should hurt less than that.
Then I think we'll be fine. I didn't even pass out when that happened.
Color me impressed. And you feel, like, the first jab as she, like, starts the tense stencil on the left shoulder.
As long as she stands it better than the dwarf did when she first arrived, she'll be happy.
Roll me a con save.
15.
You did better than the dwarf.
Yes.
He rolled a natural 2.
Oh,
which is why he is groaning and complaining. So it hurts, but it's like it's a pain that is not searing. It's almost like really sore muscle ache in that one spot, and then the needle moves, and it's like it's very localized, and that makes it very tolerable. At least for now. You imagine after a while it's going to get worse, but for the start, yeah, you could do this. I'm going to roll for the artist. She is a professional, which means that she will do this in half the time allotted typically, which is still, it's a large tattoo, so it's probably going to be a few hours at least. Natural 18.
Nice. Go Inky.
She seems to know what she's doing. Inky is a slight figure. She's very small, but she moves deftly. And while she like leans a little bit on you while she's doing it, you just feel comfortable aside from the pain. This is clearly not the first time someone has gotten a significant tattoo. And lots of people are like passing by, and as she's doing the art, it's clear some of the people passing by are like, they're goosenecking to try and see what she's drawing, because it's a large tattoo all across your shoulders, and you're this slight little half-elf of a woman getting this big nightingale on a lily tattoo. And Anscombe, he suddenly appears next to you, and he says, I got you a drink.
Thank you.
And he passes you what looks like... Roll me a history check.
Okay. 11.
You don't know what this is. It's a green fruit that's maybe 8 inches tall. It's very wide. Wider than you'd expect. Like, for a moment you're worried that you might not be able to hold it. But it has, like, an umbrella and a straw in it. And he hands it to you.
Thank you.
I figured you might need some refreshment.
What is it?
It's a honey lemon.
I don't think I've ever really held one before. Normally I have it flavored, like frozen cream, honey lemon.
Yeah. Well, no, real good as they are. They come from... And he, like, thumbs upward. And he thinks, and he's like, they come from Undertow. So...
Right.
Give it a sip.
She does.
It is delicious. It's a very mellow vanilla-y flavor. There's no lemon at all. You don't taste any sour. It's mostly just mild, and it's almost like it has a little bit of a fizzy, like just a hint of Italian soda style flavor to it.
I like this thing.
Yeah. Anscombe's like, right? You're selling them right over there. I figured I'd grab us some.
Is Golna still here, or do you have any idea?
He, like, looks... Skolna? Oh, yep. There she is.
I didn't anticipate getting this done right now. Do you think you could track down Tierra and Nore and round them up?
She nodded.
Okay, can you scare them when you find them? Because it'll be funny.
She nodded again.
Yes.
And she smiled all creepy.
Perfect.
And she was looking, I think she's going to get one too. She was
really?
I don't know what. Yep. Seems like you got your business cut out for you today. And Inky just looking forward to it.
You're not going to get one, Anscombe?
Well, I mean...
I'm not going to get anything meaningful.
You think it should?
I think it would look good on you.
Good enough for me.
Everyone gets tats.
Apparently. The tattooing process continues. Hold on. After like 5 minutes pass, you suddenly hear what sounds like it came from across the Mershana. Oi, what the 9 ales?
Yes.
Sounds like it worked.
Excellent.
There's like another moment, and then you hear the boots of Tier fast approaching. And Skolna appears in your vision on the far side. And she's wearing a mask. And it is a terrifying mask. It is solid with no mouth and just 2 enormous eyes that kind of... It's as though the pupils are the whole eye. It's really quite frightening in a creepy way. And she just says from behind the mask, "Hi."
Holy shit. Did Tier piss himself? Because if he didn't, I'll be impressed.
I did not.
Insight check.
Roll insight.
Oh, terrible. 13.
He sounds frightened, or at least you're sure he did get scared, but I.
Anyway, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was completely her idea. I had nothing to do with that.
You're still a bad liar.
Just to you.
Yeah? Still?
Are you gonna get a tattoo?
Oh, is that what we're doing over here?
I look at. She kind of gestures over her shoulder.
Yeah, Tierra's like inspecting it closely, and he says, "That is a mighty fine tattoo."
And see, now we need to be called the Nightingales because I'm committed to the theme.
You really like that name.
It's a good name.
You've mentioned it like 4 times today.
It's a good name.
What do you think? And you hear Anscombe just shrug, and he says, "Yeah, it's a good name." From behind the mask, Skolna, you just hear her say, "I don't care."
Did you find Nore?
Skolna vanishes.
Oh, perfect.
I take that as she forgot or is doing
I think
that
she's
now.
on it. She's on it. I hope she paid for that mask.
I don't know if we're ever going to find out.
Probably not. Did you think about what you were going to get?
I'm still looking. There's a lot.
She points to the mark of the Greater Warrior. Just taps it on the sheet.
Anscombe, like, makes that noise. Like a... That's a little, steep.
100 gold.
Yeah, Anscombe doesn't have as much gold as you have had.
Oh, that's true. I got thanks, class, by the way, Kaylin, for the boon. I know you're listening.
Yeah, that made that possible.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe something a little cheaper, but still useful.
She points to the mark of the scholar.
Mark of the Scholar.
75 gold for a +1 to intelligence or wisdom.
Skill checks.
Oh. Yep. I missed that part. Still.
Yeah, it's a little too little. Maybe somewhere in the middle. Can I get... Hey, Inky. Can I get maybe a few of these? Like, maybe a bunch of the Mark of the Warriors, the littler ones? And Inky, like, doesn't look up, and you hear her speaking into your back, and she says, "Only one has an effect. So, you don't want to waste your time or money." Alright.
The spell slinger?
The Spell Slinger. That's not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have a good idea what it'll look like, too.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Do tell.
Well, see, I happen to know this really, really skilled mage. She has a hand that's made of porcelain with all these little lines running through it. And I thought maybe if I had a similar tattoo, I might be able to mimic some of that skill.
Like you'd get a tattoo of a hand? Or would you get, like, matching line tattoos on your hand?
That's what I meant.
That would be so cool.
Because the list says it's a small one, so... Inky, like, looks up at what he's talking about. She says, "Aye, that'll work. If that's what you want."
Then you'd have a dahlia on the back of your hand.
Would I? Let me see
Sold.
yours.
Show. You're just siding with that. She'll lift her arm, but being careful not to move her back. so we can look at the inscriptions, and there's the blue Banasite Dahlia on the back of her hand.
Oh. Can I see what that blue would look like on my skin tone? And Inky just, like, looks at your hand. I take a look in that. And she, like, it takes a moment, but she arranges and finds the right color. And on Anscombe's kind of pale green complexion, the stark blue of Banasite, it's almost like an electric blue.
Mm-hmm. Stands out?
Doesn't look bad. Stands out pretty well. Inky says, I'm going to do the lines in black because no tattooist doesn't do the lines in black. But we can fill it with the blue. And Anscombe says, sounds good to me.
I think it's a great idea.
So 260? I can swing that. Inky then says, alright, you're after her.
Is Skolna gonna get the assassin?
Skolna's not back yet.
She was looking. That would fucking myrtleize someone.
Forgot
she had the money.
Let me, she's got the money. Let me check.
Yeah, of course she does. She's...
Okay.
Most of it's not even hers.
You hear footsteps approach, and you hear before you see Norre say, is that Lorna getting inked up?
Am I cool yet, Norre?
Stop moving.
Sorry.
That's a good start. Let me see what you're Oh, you did not hold back, did you?
No. Go hard or go home.
All right. All right. I like what you got going on here. And then Inky says, while working, it'll let her fly. And you hear Norre say, get out!
Right? Oh, I can't wait.
You hear Anscombe shuffle the tattoo paper over toward Norre, and she's like, I'm looking!
Yes, tattoos for everyone.
It sounds like that's what's going to happen, is your party is going to buy themselves tattoos from Inky, the tattoo vendor.
So the tattoos are, it's one per constitution modifier, right? Like, so if I have a +3, I can get 3 tattoos.
Yes.
Does a larger one take up more than that, or is it still just one?
They have to be, so you have to have room on your body for them.
Sure. Like, I couldn't stack on back tats.
Yeah. So you can have any number of magical tattoos equal to your con mod with a minimum of 1, which means that even if you have a con of 5, you can still have just 1 tattoo.
Yeah. It would just suck.
Yeah. There's no limitation by size, but some tattoos have to be in places for them to work.
Right.
And that means, like, you can't have 2 tattoos in the same spot and they both function.
Yes. Makes sense.
Large tattoos,
I have a +3 modifier, so I'm good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Additionally, I forgot that I made this roll because it makes sense. Regardless of your constitution modifier, one person cannot have more than 2 large tattoos, as there is simply not enough room on your body.
Fair enough.
Large tattoos cover most of either the front or the back of your torso. And clearly, this one is covering your back, so...
Understood.
You hear Norre say, it would be nice to see in the dark.
Yeah, you humans.
It's just me. Why'd you plural that?
You human.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I see which one you got, you lucky... I don't have that much on me.
I'm saving up.
For this, so you could fly?
I mean, that was just a nice side effect.
You hear Norre just, like, scoff at you as she shifts through the paper. Let's see here.
The mark of the speaker.
The mark of the speaker. Is that something that she needs?
Reroll persuasion deception. Take the higher result.
She chooses if it's persuasion or deception checks when
Oh,
she
at
gets
the
the tattoo.
you're right.
Maybe she would consider that, or Darkseer, so she can see in the dark.
Yeah.
Nore also does have tattoos.
She sure does. She was already cool.
I think, yeah, she's gonna spring for the Darkseer.
Then we'll all have dark vision.
I mean, nothing quite gives us away as us trying to hold a torch up when we're sneaking up on people.
It's true.
When you say it like that, I didn't really think about it, but yeah. Especially, I mean, maybe if we didn't have Modi charging in, we might have been able to sneak on that cultist camp a little better.
Oh, you know, no plan is perfect.
Oh, is that you all I heard about? I heard about some mercenaries clearing out Velisco snake people.
Oh, yes. That sure did happen.
That was you.
Yes, ma'am. That was us.
I'll shave 20 gold off your price.
Thank you. Okay, 20 gold. Thank God, because now I only have 60 gold to my name.
And you hear Nori say, "That go for the rest of us." And Inky just says, "Aye, that's if you're part of the same. Yes."
Yes, we're the we're the Nightingales.
You hear Nori scoff, and she says, "You're still pushing that name, huh?"
It's in the skin now. I've committed to it. I pulled the trigger.
All right. I've had worse names for parties. That's fine.
Not the worst name. I'll take it.
I like it.
You kind of have to.
Yeah, you just like it because she diddles you.
All right. Not necessary.
But am I wrong?
Not necessary.
All right. I did like it, though. It wasn't just... Right.
I believe you.
I'm never going to convince anybody now. Maybe I need that mark of the speaker.
No, the Spellslinger. That's the one for you.
All right. So, I need another con save.
Oh, yeah. 17.
Okay. It takes a few hours. And your party all kind of hang out and talk and laugh and chatter around Inky while she works on you. But finally, your tattoo is finished.
Oh, yeah. It hurts.
It's sore. Your back hurts. And there is like this strange cold salve that Inky applies to your entire torso, like the back of it when she's done. And she says, "All right, make sure that you sleep on your stomach tonight."
Right. She'll actually take her robes and keep her back exposed, but tie it in the front of her like a halter, where it covers her chest and then goes behind her neck, but her whole back is open.
You hear Anscombe say, "That looks really, really good."
Does he mean it?
Roll an insight check.
16.
Yeah. He's drooling a little bit.
He's appreciative. I'll take it.
Yeah. Then, Anscombe sits down and he says, "All right, I'm next."
You need to hold your hand.
Not this one.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's his left hand, right? It's her, like, to coincide with hers.
Yeah.
Okay, she'll take his right hand. Squeeze if it's too much.
All right. She begins working on that tattoo. It's not going to take nearly as long. And she actually asks to see your porcelain hand.
Oh, she'll hold it out.
As she begins to work, she rolled a natural 17 on that one. which is just one less than yours.
Woo.
And Anscombe... When she starts, Anscombe's, like, still looking at the side of the wing of yours. Let me know when she starts, alright? Anki just, like, glances up and just goes back to it. He's a half-orc fighter.
Yeah, she just doesn't say anything.
He rolled, like, a 26. Like, he doesn't feel a thing.
It's all like calluses on his hands.
Yeah. And it's a tattoo on the hand, which typically hurts a lot, but it seems to be unfazed. It isn't for like 10 minutes that he finally looks and he's like, oh.
Oh, you were doing great. I didn't want to psych you out.
No, it just makes me a little worried for my nerves.
If you can still close your hand, you're probably fine.
You hear Inky say, don't.
Oh, please, I mean, no, don't.
Alright. I hope it doesn't affect my whooshing.
Nothing could affect your whooshing. You whoosh so good.
When... Alright. Anscombe, like, is about to explain what he meant, and then he realizes he's being made fun of, and he stops.
He's learning.
I'm gonna roll again. His tattoo takes like less than a quarter of the time that yours took.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's is gonna go much faster than hers.
Most of them are small. His is finished, which means that he now has the Spell Slinger, which bumps his spell DC and spell attack rolls from the wizard spell list, which is important to note because his spells come from the wizard spell list.
Yeah.
Next, Norre. There's some conversation about where the Darkseer tattoo will go. And Inky says, the best place is for it on your forehead. And Norre kind of considers it. Can you make it not look like just a fucking eye in the middle of my forehead? Like, we can maybe do a tiara mark.
Ooh, that would look nice.
And Norre considers that, and she says, if you can match the blue that's already there. And Inky just frowns, and she says, trust me, it would look better if it's darker. And Norre says,
the expert.
You're the artist. This time, Inky, like, sits Norre down, facing her, and Inky, like, straight up just, like, straddles Norre's lap and gets super close and starts working on her forehead.
Lorna just kind of whistles.
I didn't expect... And Inky just says, shush. I think you have flustered, Inky.
I think Inky has me flustered.
I didn't think that could happen. And you hear Norre just say, shut up. Let me roll con save for Norre. Like, she actually rolled pretty bad.
Oh.
So while it's happening, Norre's like wincing. It's right across the forehead.
Yeah.
So, like...
Whistle a happy tune. Give yourself inspiration.
She can't do that. A bard cannot inspire herself, unfortunately. I'll roll for Inky. Inky's just a good artist, it seems.
Hell yeah.
And by the end of it, the tattoo is a slightly darker shade of a tiara line where it looks like there's like a jewel in the middle of Norre's forehead that easily meshes with the blue tattoos that were already there.
Sick.
And when she looks at it in the mirror, Norre's like, okay, yeah, I could get used to that. And Inky says, glad you're pleased. Anybody else? Tier.
Getting one? Is Tier getting one?
Yeah, Tier's getting one.
Dude, everyone's getting tattoos from Inky.
Yeah. Tier, like, points at the sharp eye. And he says, I think that would be good for all of us, don't you think? If only
I'm
could...
actually looking for it.
It's all the way at the bottom.
Ooh, off I go. Grants the wearer advantage on range attacks. But other weapons short range distance. Lorna just says yes.
I thought so. And he, like, points underneath his left eye, and he says, "This is my bad eye. If you could, maybe just, like, maybe permanent makeup almost, but, like, dots around the eye." And Inky's like, "Whatever." And she puts Tierra in the seat, and then sits on him exactly as she did Norre.
Lorna whistles again.
And Tierra's like, "Okay, I get it." And Nora's like, It's an experience.
It's intense.
And as Inky says, "Shush, I gotta roll." Oh no. Tierra's eyes are like watering while
buddy.
she's working on it. But he's quiet. He's just, it's clear that he's feeling the pain. He just
Don't cry.
holds it in.
Oh, sweet boy.
"I'm not crying, it's on my tear duct." As like Inky's like wiping away the excess ink while she's working, she's like, "I've had worse." She nat 20 is this one.
Oh,
So it's
sick.
like a crazy, awesome looking like filigree dot around his eye, where it makes it look like it's like, I can't even describe it really.
We're gonna have to look for a good reference.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find good reference for Tierra's eye tattoo for the sharp eye. But his goes by quickly. And then when she's finished, Skolna appears. Still wearing the mask. But she points at the assassin.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
This is
What does that
another
look like
large
for her?
tattoo.
Fuck yeah.
There is some discussion, and by that I mean Inky goes, "So, what you want? Where you want it?" And Skolna, like, she doesn't really say much.
Shocking.
Yeah. But she pulls down her sleeve. She takes off the leather coat that jangles. That when she takes it off and
What's
sets
in
it down.
there?
Skolna just looks at you and she says, "Knives."
Okay. Yeah.
She pulls down the sleeve and she gestures. She wants this large tattoo to cover from her right shoulder on the front and on the back all the way up the whole arm, all the way down to the hand. What the subject of the tattoo is it appears to be like lots of... I have the image in my head. I'm trying to describe it for you. It starts out as almost like a crown over the shoulder on the front and the back. And then it winds with smoke down off the points of the crown until it shows like the silhouettes of running shadows all the way down her arm, until at the base where the forearm reaches the hand is a dagger. And it's
Nice.
a wicked serrated dagger all the way up to the palm of her hand. And on the back of it is, running away from the dagger, wrapping around her hand, is blood. But it's all black and white. So she's like asking Inky, "Do you think you can make that look like blood?" And Inky says, "I can manage." As it's all stenciled out, the tattoo looks scary.
That tracks.
And it's all black and white, but it's on Skolna's dark purple skin, which makes it just look like it's smoke on velvet as she begins to draw it on Skolna's skin. I have some rolls to make.
I can't wait to see if Skolna loses her composure.
Skolna does not have a very high con save, but she rolled a 19.
Yeah, she did better than me.
Yeah. I believe her con save is just a +1. Let me check. No? It's a +3.
We have the same concept.
Yeah. So, Skolna, like, Inky begins working, starting on the back, and Skolna's, like, seated sideways on this chair. Stone-faced.
Yep, that tracks.
Yep. And Anscombe's like, Skolna, have you had a tattoo before? You're taking this like a vet. And Skolna just looks up at him, shakes her head.
He knows a thing or two about stabbing, though.
You're right about that. And Skolna just nods while waiting for this to happen. Your whole team gets tatted.
Yeah.
They just became a little bit more scary.
And now I can fly.
And you can fly. You can fly at your movement speed. I think it's 30 feet.
Yeah. That's sick. That's sick as fuck. And with you, I fly.
And with you, I fly. As you get the tattoo, it's like second nature. You don't attune to the tattoos. And as you say, Inky, your goodbyes, you pay for your tattoos, you have this awareness of the tattoo on your back. It still hurts, because it's fresh, but there's more there. It's as though it's a new muscle that you feel like you can just flex. Do you?
Yeah.
You immediately feel yourself lift off the ground.
Oh, fuck. This is new.
Careful!
I don't know how to be.
You have wings of black and white, Lorna, and they look really fucking cool.
We're just gonna do a little flip.
You can fly. You can roll me acrobatics.
Oh no, I'm not good at those. I hit a tree. I rolled a 9.
Yeah, you start a flip and you realize you don't have it.
Whoa.
So you just kind of fly up sharply and then do not overend yourself.
Okay, I'm practice.
That's going to be real useful.
Yeah. She's gonna kind of drift alongside them as they go to the Alchemedia, which is what I thought I was gonna get to today, but hey, tattoos are cool too.
Yeah, it's now in
She just idly flaps with them.
It's now in the evening, because you spent all day getting tattoos. Each large tattoo takes like 5 hours.
Oh yeah, we spent the whole day here.
Yeah. So
10 hours if you include fucking Skolna's.
Yeah, and then plus the smaller tattoos. Each one takes about an hour. So you go towards the Alchemedia, and as you do, that is where we're going to stop today.
Julia's gonna be like, "What the fuck took so long?"
Yeah. But you have tattoos, which is cool.
It's so cool.
So, as we come to the end of today's session, I want to say thank you for playing. I hope you had a good time. Even though all we did was RPL getting tattoos and some weird little trinkets, it was interesting for sure. To those of you who
have a team name.
You've chosen the Nightingales, and your team agreed.
Because I forced it.
Yeah, you've got a huge tattoo of a nightingale, and they're like, all right.
Guys, I'm committed.
To those of you who are at home or at work watching, hi, Pen.
Hi, Pen.
We love you, and we'll see you all next time. Good night, everybody.